everybody. This is I'm Wendy Selvig, and I have my dear friend Yvonne Pace with us tonight, and she is going to teach us about the lymph system. Yvonne is a physical therapist. She is a teacher. She does so much with health. We have known each other for years and years. I don't know, maybe 20 years, and we've been doing oils together for a long time, and I'm so happy to introduce her to you. And I'm gonna let her kind of take off with this. This is her topic. She loves it. She loves teaching people about the lymph, and we've got some exciting things to learn tonight. Yvonne?
Okay, hi everyone. So glad you came. And I guess the first thing we should do is, why are we doing this? And what we're doing when we become the actual pump for our lymphatic system, because it doesn't have a pump like our heart and our circulatory system, is to help purge our system of fungus, bacteria, viruses, cancer cells. And we also use the oils in combination because they have a mosaic of hundreds of chemicals and constituents that assist our body in detoxifying. So that right there is the big picture of what we're going to do. And I'm going to actually show you the step-by-step. I'll have slides going and you can take screenshots of them. We'll have a whiteboard with lots of good information. So just be ready to ask questions and leave them in the chat, and we can address those at some point since this is recorded. And yeah, we'll just be an ongoing educational time about the lymphatic system. All right, so I'm going to bring up our slides, and here's the first one. All right, so let's talk about what the lymphatic system is. So as I mentioned, it is helping our body get rid of waste, of cellular metabolism. Doesn't that sound good, to get waste out of our body? And it also helps us remove excessive fluid. That's a way to know if you need to move your lymph, is if you're tight in your joints, if your ankles are holding fluid, you can't see those bones on the outside of your ankles. Fluid is accumulating, and you need to be the pump for that system to help move the fluid to the lowest point of pressure, which is above your clavicles. Okay, so I'm always going to be going back to the termini. You're going to hear that word a lot, termini. Okay, the lymphatic system also produces immune cells. Okay, the lymphocytes, you've heard of that. That's a type of white blood cell that assists our body in dealing with all the toxins that come into our body, everything from the bacterias to the cancers. So if your blood work shows that your lymphocytes are low, that means you're more prone to infection, and you need to work on that, which is a whole nother topic. If your lymphocytes are too high, that means your body is fighting something, bacteria, fungus, cancer. You know, they remove lymph nodes with people that have cancer because that's where they are. So this is why we apply the oils and we actually put them on the nodes and the termini, which is above the clavicle. So remember that. I'm going to say it over and over. All right. Our lymphatic system also helps us absorb the nutrition that we're taking into our body, those fatty acids and those vitamins that we're taking. Instead of peeing them out, your lymphatic system, if it is congested, and you have like right here, you could even have bubbles. Armpit is a big place where you get a bubble instead of a divot. See the divot in my arm? That should be a divot, not a bubble sticking out. If it's blocked, all these wonderful vitamins you're taking are not being moved through the body, through the lymphatic system. So there's a lot of wonderful, God made a wonderful system here, and we're just assisting it by what we're going to learn today. All right, if I'm going too fast, I'm going to try to slow down so that you can look at this and take a screenshot and study it. But what it's trying to show you is how our lymphatic system is a mirror of our circulatory system. All right, our heart is pumping and moving the blood through our arteries and veins, but our lymphatic system because they're one-way streets and it doesn't have a pump. We need to do lymphatic drainage, and you can do it very indiscreetly all during the day, which is what I do. The primary place I do it is in bed, laying down, because it's a gravity assisted position of the body. So this is something else. The fact that 70% of our lymphatic vessels are found on the surface of our skin is why I want to teach you how to touch your body very gently, because it's not a deep, I mean, there are deep vessels, yes, but the ones that we're going to mainly work on are very superficial. So you've got the skin, you've got the lymph, and you got fascia that goes over the muscle belly. So it doesn't take a big, deep pressure to access this system. All right, so now along the lymphatic vessels, there are nodes. So I'm sure when you've had a sore throat, you're like, oh, I feel these nodules along here. And the doctor will touch your neck and say, oh yeah, yep, we need to check for whatever could possibly be going on in your body. So they swell when they're fighting the bacteria, the virus, or whatever's going on. We have about 6 to 1,000 of them along the chains of our body, which I'll show you in a minute what it looks like. And these are like security systems. They make the lymphocytes, and they detect what's going on in the body as these toxins are flowing through our system. So there are 7 specific areas that we do in order to help drain the system. And that's a real important part of what we're going to go over today. All right, so here is an illustration of where the lymphatics, the green vessels you see there, the red and the blue are, of course, the arteries and veins. Well, this system drains above the clavicles, okay? Half of it on the left, most of it on the left, and a little bit of it on the right. It's just the way that God made us. So above your collarbones, and then this is the real wonderful illustration of the main lymphatic vessels, where they go into the termini, which are every time I lift my shoulders, I get those 2 divots above my collarbone. So you're going to go back to that area several times while you're doing this technique. Okay, so the entire drainage system is our lymph, our kidneys, our liver, our gut, and our lungs. Okay, so the big thing at the end of this, lungs are very important, because I'm going to teach you diaphragmatic and lymphatic breathing, so that it's kind of like a wave, that when you're done with everything, that you breathe and help move the lymph in the trunk area. And then you end with the termini. So that's kind of an overview of how our body has all these systems to drain toxins. Okay, so here's like an illustration of how these different systems remove the toxins or the trash. So the lymphatic system, they're the security system that are going from room to room and picking up different viruses, bacteria, cancer cells, and putting it in a bag, so to speak, okay? And then the lymphatic system is associated with our liver. So the liver is sorting these bags and deciding, oh, I want to keep this in the body. The body needs this. Oh no, we're going to get rid of this. Like medications is an example. People get problems with their liver because they take a lot of medications that the liver is having to metabolize. So the body's constantly, trying to balance out all of that. And then the colon and the kidneys are like the trucks that take the appropriate items out. So going to the bathroom, essentially, urine and fecal matter. So this is the way the lymphatic system works with the rest of our body. So it's very efficient. unless you're congested, okay, which is why you're going to be the pump to help with that congestion. All right, so here's another illustration. Oops, that's the same slide. Let me see, is that the end? No, okay. All right, that was just a repeat, sorry about that. All right, now I'm going to teach you how to place your fingers. You're going to make the I love you sign. We want to use fingers that aren't quite so strong because these fingers are really good at pushing. And we just want to be very gentle, so we're going to use these two fingers. So when you see me, I'm going to be using just those fingers and the rest of them are just laying there. Okay, you're going to place your fingers on top of your eyeballs first. Yeah, sorry. This is how you decide how much pressure. So if you push so hard that you see stars, that's too much. Okay, it's very subtle. Okay, and I don't go too fast, so it's not like a heartbeat. So what I do is I count, because you do this from 10 to 50 times as far as the repetitions go. And so I count every other. So I rest. So it's 1 rest, 2 rest, 3 rest, so that I don't end up, getting really fast. Okay, that's just how I keep my rhythm. Okay, now the direction is going to always be towards the lowest part of the pressure. Everything wants to go here. If you're not congested, things will go there. Okay, but if you're congested, as we go through the different areas, you're going to want to think about where your hands are and what direction you're going, because you always want to go towards the termini. Okay. All right. You move your hands to where you want the fluid to move. And you think about, where is my termini? All right. So let's talk about congestion. So it's like a toll booth where you've got all these cars lined up, and until that first car gets through the booth, the next car and so on. So you can't take a car from the back and push it through. There's no room. So that's what we're doing. We need to do these lymph node stimulation technique in order, so that we're pushing everything through the toll booth in order. Okay. All right, so here this is the most important place to find correctly. And this just tells you some anatomy of how to find it. If you're not congested, this should be very deep. When you elevate your shoulders like this, you should be able to grab your clavicle. The termini is above, and then there's one below too. It's called the apical. We'll get to that. So that's just like an illustration. If you're not quite sure you're finding it, that's a good way to figure it out. All right, so here's an overview of the termini and the order. You'll see that we start above the clavicle. We actually go up to the tonsillar, which is below the earlobes. Then the apical is underneath the clavicle. And then axillary is that armpit one that should have the divot. And then the cisterna chyli, that is a deep reflex you're going to be looking for as we do this together. You find where your rib cage comes together as a triangle. Put one finger there, and then the other finger on your belly button, and it's in the middle. Okay. And you're going to do what's called a J. Those two fingers are going to be going up. Remember, we're going up towards the termini. So visualize that. Okay. And then the pelvic area, or the groin, kind of where people get congestion in there too, is you put your hands on your pelvic bones. Back up a little bit. We'll go over all this slower. And then you go down towards your pubic bone. So it's that J. So it's here, and you just brush it. This would be on dry skin. You wouldn't be doing it with clothes on. Okay. That's the groin. And then the last one is the knee. Okay. There's 2 tendons that are back here. You can feel a real hard tendinous area. And then in the middle of those is the place you want to put your 2 fingers. Okay. So it looks like that. All right. So that's an overview. of the important areas you're going to be touching. And you'll see the reps 10 to 50. The groin area is a little less, but basically, if you have time to do 50, great. If you don't, do 10. And you can just do part of it too.
Yvonne,
Just go back to the termini. Yeah.
I wanted to remind people they can take pictures of the slides. Like,
Yes.
so like, especially this one, if you have a chance, pull your, take a picture of this, because later when you're by yourself and you're trying to remember where these spots are, this is a great graphic for that.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, Wendy, keep me if I'm going too fast. It's only slow down. Okay, then I'm going to do an overview. This is the diaphragmatic versus lymphatic breathing. So we're actually going to do this. So this is like the end. And I'm going to show you the difference here. The diaphragmatic breathing is you don't ever see the chest move, right? You only see the belly move. Well, with lymphatic breathing, you're actually going to feel the chest rise. Okay. So I'll stand up and we'll just go over this briefly and then we're going to do it all together. Okay. All right. So at the very end, you've done all your termini, all your nodes ending with your termini, and you're going to breathe in. So your belly should come out. And then your chest should rise. And then the chest goes down and the belly goes in. Okay, so belly out, chest up, chest down, belly in. This takes practice if you're not used to separating, because usually we don't teach a whole lot of chest breathing. We teach deep belly breathing, but this is something that this particular functional medicine doctor that I learned this from, she recommended that it's kind of like a wave to help that lymphatic system move. Okay, so hopefully if you needed a shot of that, you got that. So you always start with the diaphragm and end with the diaphragm. And just doing that kind of breathing throughout the day is a wonderful thing to think about doing. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this illustration. All right, so here we go. All right, so I would not have any clothes on and my skin would be dry. All right, so I'm going to start above my clavicle and I'm just going to breathe, be aware of your breathing, okay? And we're just going to pump. So I'm actually going in a little bit, release, in a little bit, release, okay? So here's the termini where we start and end. So just take a couple seconds and do a few of those. And remember every other, I wouldn't go this fast because you tend to get deeper and deeper. You want to stay superficial or light. Okay, now you're going to go up. Take your fingers like Spock and separate and go up behind your ears, then pull down to right under your earlobes. And so you're going to pull this way. Because you want, I like to extend it. She didn't teach it this way, but I like to extend it all the way down because you want it to go here, right? So real gentle. And if you're congested, this will probably be tender and you'll feel something. And it's not like as if you're dragging your fingers. It's very light in the raindrop. We teach how you don't even really disturb the skin. You don't pull across the skin or hear. You shouldn't hear your fingers dragging on your skin. It's so light. Okay. Now we're going to go to apical, which is under the collarbone. So if you raise your shoulders, you can find right here. So you're going to want to go towards your termini. I can do both at the same time if you feel like you want to do one at a time, whatever you feel more coordinated doing. You'll feel a muscle here. You want to go right towards where your shoulder girdle starts, essentially. Okay. All right, so we're going to get ready to move towards our armpit. This one you have to do one at a time because you want to access that divot, that area under here. So this is your pectoralis muscle. You can grab it. That's a big chest muscle, and it's right in there. Okay, so you're going to take your finger and go in, gentle. So if you feel a tenderness or a bubble, this is an area I think that people aren't aware of, that they can really decongest the upper body. Okay, go to the other side. So if you don't have time, this is all you have time to do, just go back to your termini. Okay. All right, so the next one is the cisterna chyli, it's called. So now you're going to go to where your rib cage meets, put one finger there and find your belly button here, and then you go in the middle. And put those two fingers there, and you're going to go up and in. This is deep, and it's a reflex, okay, that you're stimulating. This. I do notice a difference. I even do this when I'm walking with my clothes on, of course. Just walking, and I notice my hands are getting tight, my ring's getting tight. I will do some of these, and I will notice a difference immediately. All right, so now we're going to do the groin. So hands on your hips, and then you're going to go down to your pubic bone. So just come back up here, those two fingers, and coming down like in a triangle, a V. Okay, now we're going to go towards the lower leg. And I would be doing this on my back, you know, in bed. Find those two tendons on the outside of the thigh, and then go in that area that's like a divot. Hopefully, if it's a bubble, you could have a cyst in there. If you have any arthritis, you might find a cyst in there. It's called a Baker cyst. See that real good. Remember, you're going up this way. Think about going up. Okay. All righty, and then you do the other leg, of course.
Yvonne,
Uh-huh.
can you do a little closer up on the back of the leg? I say that because from my view, and I think everyone else's view, your name comes up on the screen and it's all over your leg. It's like I can't see.
Let me see if I move my
Like, or which direction are your fingers? Are they up and down, like on your behind your knee?
They're like this, and then
Okay.
going up. Is that
okay? That's better. Yeah.
okay? I see. Yeah, my name's on the left lower corner. Oh, how about that? Going up and up. See these two tendons here? They're real hard. Tendinous membranes there.
I still have your name on top of your leg.
Should I move this way?
Sorry. Maybe it's in a different place on your screen than it is.
Yeah.
Like,
should I move my screen down?
That's better. Yes, I think that's
there.
better.
Okay, so I've got those
Perfect.
two fingers. All right.
Oh, so much better. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I made my leg the center of the screen. Okay, so now you can go in the reverse. That is something you can do if you've got lots of time. Going back up to the groin, just work back up the list. Cisterna chyli, axillary, apical, tonsillar, and termini. But if you don't have time to do all of that, that's like ideal. Just go from the knee up to the termini and repeat 10 to 50 times. Being aware of your breathing. And then, then we do the diaphragmatic breathing to end. Now, just to note, I put the oil on those two fingers. Okay, I'm always reapplying the oil to my fingers and putting it on each spot. If you don't have time, I would just primarily do it on the termini. Okay.
What oil are you using today?
Today, I've got lemongrass. And then I also use Joy because that's an oil I use every day, and I want it as flowing in my circulatory system as much as I can. So that is what I use on those two fingers, reapplying. Okay. All right, so now let's do the diaphragmatic and lymphatic breathing. All right, do I need to get closer here? So I want you to see my chest go up and my belly come out, okay? All right, so does that look good there, Wendy?
Yep, looks good.
So I'm gonna do it a little fast, so maybe you can see it better. If you're not familiar with diaphragmatic breathing, when you breathe in, your belly should come out. That's normal, correct breathing. And then if you're gonna fill your chest, then you'll see my hand go up. And then my chest should go down, and then my belly goes in. I'm actively using my abdominal wall to push the air out, okay? Belly first, chest second, chest down, belly in. I'm not using my hands. I'm just putting them there so you can feel and see what's happening in my body. So again, this is a slow, rhythmic. And do that as long as you can. I would do it 10 times if you could, unless you're getting a little lightheaded. Depends on how much deep breathing you do. You can get lightheaded from that. Just don't be alarmed. Just go back to normal breathing. And then if you want to do a few more, the better, is what I have found. To incorporate this into your life like you do all your other hygiene is ideal, okay? If this makes you feel sick, and you probably need to be drinking water. And also Wendy has some information that we can put up from the whiteboard.
Okay. Okay, just so you know, it says opening the whiteboard is gonna stop your screen share for a minute.
Stop mine. Okay, there you go.
Here we go.
All right, so here we have a list of the recommended essential oils, everything from citrus to frankincense and sandalwood. So you're applying these in those areas, being careful of using citrus oils on your neck and then going out in the sun. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
You're going to end up with red marks that your fingers left there on your neck.
Okay.
It's happened to me.
I know, so yeah, I was gonna say. And just also a couple comments. So the oils that are listed here, I'm gonna go through, I just want to walk through them really quickly as far as cost. I know some of these oils, I'm like, oh wow, the lymph system is expensive because some of these oils are like the priciest oils, you know. But then there's some of them that are very affordable, and I want to point those out to you. Frankincense, of course, is one of the oils of oils. I mean, it is used for everything, and you could go to pubmed.gov and type in frankincense or type in boswellia. That's the Latin name for it, and you'll see stage 4, all, you know, problems that are like reversed. I mean, all kinds of amazing things with frankincense. So frankincense is one of those, I think, I'm like, I don't care how much it costs. I need frankincense in my life. So frankincense would be an amazing one to use. Ledum is used, it is also, that is a very pricey one. Sandalwood, I believe when you're getting a really good sandalwood for a 5 milliliter bottle, it's about $100. Like, so some of these are, I just don't want you to go down this list and stop after 3 because each one of these costs so much. They don't all cost that much. Myrtle. Myrtle is the thyroid oil. If you have thyroid issues and you need to support your thyroid, it's going to do double duty when you're putting it in your lymph thing. So in all your lymph areas. And that is not that expensive an oil. Grapefruit is a super inexpensive oil. One of the grapefruit, tangerine, and orange are 3 of the most inexpensive oils there are. So I think they're under $10 for a 5 mil. You know, it's like, but yeah, it's so beneficial for your system. Rosemary is is going to help your immune system. If you do have a lot of swelling and your immune system's suffering, and you want to support your immune system in clearing out and killing off whatever things it's trying to kill off, that rosemary is going to support that. Endoflex at the bottom, that one is a hormone support oil. So if you are constantly trying to balance your hormones or support your hormones, if you could teach your teenage boys and girls to do this with the Endoflex, that would be like life-changing probably, because it really affects their hormones and helps them balance. So they kind of do double duty. They're so good for the lymph system, but they have these other issues as well. So I kind of wanted to point those out.
All right, thank you, Wendy.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, the other lymph rubs that we have, that's cellulite.
Oh yeah, cellulite is
Yeah.
it's a massage oil that Young Living sells, and it has actually it has a lot of the citrus oils in it. And then they actually had this really it was a long time ago. They did this challenge for weight loss and stuff, and I did it. I did the challenge, and it included the cellulite and some other of their supplements, but I had ordered it and the supplements hadn't come in yet, and I just had the cellulite, so I went ahead and got started. And you put the cellulite, like, on areas of your body that you want to see go down in inches. And in a 2-week period, I lost 6 inches off my waist, like just putting the cellulite on my, so the cellulite itself is pretty powerful. It's a great massage oil, but it stimulates the lymph. And so you can take that cellulite oil and use that as a carrier, and then add a little grapefruit and add a little cypress. So I know cypress is a circulatory oil. If anybody was having circulation problems, I will put cypress on them, like on their legs or on their feet. I've worked with people in hospice and things that have their ankles are swelling up because the fluids are not moving. We're gonna apply cypress, do a little, some massage on those points. And but so you can take the cellulite and then add the grapefruit and cypress, and then put that all over your fingers as you're doing these things that Yvonne is showing you, for sure. Then
Yes.
that last sticky over there, the internal lymph cleanse, this is something that's listed in the essential oil dust preference book. I don't know if you've seen this book, but this was all of Gary Young's research. And so this is something that Gary Young recommends. And this is to help get your lymph fluid moving, but from the internal aspect. So you take a half a gallon of distilled water. You can add a little bit of grade B maple syrup. It has a lot of minerals in it, and that it helps. It's like electrolytes. It's what it is. And then you add 3 drops of cypress, a drop of orange, and 2 drops of grapefruit, and you put that in a glass water bottle so it doesn't eat away a plastic one. And then you're going to drink that through the day, and that's going to help you like a cleanse from your lymph system internally. So there you go.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I do mention that if you are pregnant or planning to get pregnant, do not do this technique. It's not recommended that you do.
Any of this, right? Any of the
Right.
lymph cleansing,
Any of
you're
this.
not want to stir up the toxins in your bloodstream to be absorbed by a baby.
Yes, because if another area to think about, if you're going to do a detox of any kind, you need to do this first. Okay. And be doing it all along in your detox process, because this will help enhance the effects, but it also could make you feel like those symptoms that you get with detox. So it's recommended that you move more, which I want to end with this. The doctor that I work with, she has one of those vibrating pads. Well, not very practical to have that in your home sometimes, unless you find it on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody's trying to get rid of it. But what you can do is get a little rebounder, or you can get one of those they're very small rubber. I don't think I have it here. Sorry, I should have brought that. You stand on that and you bounce, or you just jump. So let me just show you that. Heel drops. Let me get out here far enough. So you just stand. After you're done, you just raise up and then drop. If you're somewhat a little bit more athletic and you don't have problems with your ankles, she recommends that you jump, 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 and raise your hands over your head, okay? That again helps the whole system move. And then see what I do is I'm in my bed on my back, and I've got my feet and my hands in the air, and I'm wiggling and just helping that system drain. So that's something else you can add, 30 seconds to 2 minutes, she recommends.
I'd like to add that motion you were doing when you're doing the heel drops, when you're up and down, is the same. There is something called when we do the raindrop, there's something we do sometimes called the lymph pump. And where if somebody is laying down, for example, this is a great way when you can minister to somebody who is maybe ill, or who, like I've done this before, like I said, with hospice patients who are in bed, they can't get out, and their fluids just are not moving because they're not walking. That's a natural pump in your body when you're walking, that it pumps that fluid. So you can take their foot and you can do that. You can move it in that way, and it will get some fluid moving. And I've done it before when, after a long day, we were out in San Diego last week. We were walking, and then I was just tired at night, but I'm laying in bed and my feet everything's sore, but I just did this. I forced my feet to do this motion for a while, and I could feel things clearing. I could feel the fluid moving. So just know that ankle and the feet, that motion pumps the fluid in your body. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's a great exercise for life. Yeah, all through life. Okay, well, I think that's all I have, Wendy, unless you got anything else.
Okay, no, I appreciate you so much, Yvonne, coming on and sharing your knowledge with everybody. If you guys have any questions, or you want to reach out, Yvonne, what's your contact information you want them to reach out to you at?
Well, for quickest response, my cell, I text, I'm on my phone a lot, 719-460-2747.
Okay.
And then you can email me at RYDE, Pace, at msn.com.
Awesome. And then if you need to reach out to me, info@theoilyacademy.com. And I guess we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining and learning, and we'll just see you next time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.